So, how did you end up here? It all starts when you wake up for the first time in the cozy environment of your mother's ice-cold snow den. But you don't know that because you're born blind, along with no teeth and a coat of soft white fur. At half a kilo, you're totally dependent on your mum and will be for the next 2.5 years. Your first 2 to 3 months are like being stuck in a fallout vault, longing to see what's on the outside. Is it a wasteland? Well, sort of, yeah. It's just miles and miles of snow and ice with the occasional small human settlement. This time is needed though, so you can feed on your mum's fat rich milk and grow 10 times in size. She is devoted to nursing and doesn't eat or drink the whole time whilst you spend all day sucking her dry. Spring comes, so it's time to leave the den. You spend the next 2 weeks exploring around the den, playing and strengthening your legs while still feeding from your mother. She finally decides you're strong enough and you start to make the long trek towards the sea ice, your home for the majority of the year. This is where she'll teach you all the hunting and survival skills necessary for life in the Arctic. Due to the scarcity of food on land, you are highly reliant on the sea, with seals making up most of your diet. Luckily for you, spring is when the cute little baby seals come into the world, giving you a good chance to get some easy seal veal. As you watch intently, your mum sniffs out a seal birth layer, approaches quietly, smashes through the 2 or 3 feet of ice and catches a pup before it can escape. Congrats, you've just learned your first hunting technique. This is a tasty first meal, but it's not long till mum has to hunt again. After showing you another technique, she brings back another seal, but this time things don't go so well. In the distance, she spots a male polar bear approaching, which gives you no choice but to leg it. If you don't, then along with the day's catch, he'll probably eat you too. You're an easy target and it'll eliminate some potential future competitors. Male bears aren't your only threat, and you'll have to keep an eye out for Arctic wolves as well, who will run off with you if given the chance. Mum's lessons continue till you're 2 years old, when you now start to engage in some practical lessons for a few months. Weaning takes place at around 2.5 years, when your mum, convinced you can just about survive, will leave you on your own. You are now a sub-adult polar bear. First things first, time to get some food. It's coming to the end of spring, so there are some easy seal pups to catch. Like mum, you sniff out the layer, approach quietly, then smash. Oh, looks like you're not strong enough to break the ice. And the seal's gone. Don't worry, mum taught you what to do. You find a seal breathing hole near a den, sneak up to it and wait patiently for a few hours. An unknowing seal innocently pops its head up, only to be clawed out the water for your first meal. Or so you think. Food theft is a really big problem for sub-adult polar bears, as they lack the size to fend off the adults, making them easy pickings. At least you got a nibble. After that disappointment, you turn to scavenging. This doesn't provide as much food, but will keep you going and will be much needed during the summer months when the ice melts. From July to August, you have to spend your time on land, scavenging in a less familiar environment. You haven't stored as much fat as you wanted during the bulking season, so it's important you find some food. As you pick off a few small rodents, a tasty smell brings you to an unfamiliar location. This isn't exactly your first choice of food, but you have to take what you can get. It's much more common to bump into other bears at this time, as the lack of sea ice gives you less room to roam. They're typically quite civil as it's outside mating season, but still you don't take any risks and spend the night on a slope so you have the high ground. After a rough summer at land, the sea ice returns, giving you better access to better food again. You continue this routine for a number of years, reaching maturity at 4 to 6 years and your full size at 5 to 10 years old. You are now an adult polar bear. No other land carnivore can rival your size, except maybe Kodiak bears, and you can weigh up to 800 kilos. It's a bit nippy in the Arctic, so you've developed a few tricks to survive. You have a 2-inch long, dense undercoat of fur and 6-inch long hollow guard hairs that allow you to trap the heat and float on water easier. They're also transparent to direct ultraviolet light between your fur and undercoat, creating an emission-absorption cycle and keeping you warm. The reflection of visible light and lack of pigment is what makes your fur appear white. A handy coincidence. Underneath the fur you have black skin to help absorb more UV light, and you keep a 2 to 4 inch layer of fat for warmth and energy. You may wonder, what about overheating in the summer? Your layer of highly vascularized striated muscle tissue and finely controlled blood vessels see to that. You also jump in the sea. As per usual, you're out hunting seals. You're not actually the most clinical finisher, as less than 2% of your hunts succeed. There's no seal pups around, so you use another one of your hunting methods. You spot a lonely seal perched on the other side of an ice ridge. Head and neck lowered, you approach slowly to avoid alerting them. Once they're in reach, you 0 to 25 and catch them before they can escape. Hunting success. Uh-oh. You think about running, but decide you're an adult now and can defend your hard work. After a few slaps back and forth, your rival decides it's not worth it for one seal, and you both leave fairly unscathed. After your long successful day, you get your 8 hours, and awaken to find that you've drifted away on a melted off bit of sea ice. You have no idea where you are, but there's no food, so you'd better get swimming. Your specialised paws acting as paddles help you spend the next 2 days swimming towards some seal populated sea ice. Nothing you can't handle. On your next search for food, you spot a strange looking seal in some shallow water. Food is food. You approach quietly, get close enough and sweep it out the water. It tastes a bit funny, but still adds to your goal of adding 50% mass before the land-dwelling months. As the summer approaches, like you've done before, you make your way to land. Your successful bulk means you don't really need to hunt this time, as you have the fat stores to last months. But there's nothing else to do. You can do more than scavenge now and decide to use that power to ruin Christmas by hunting down some reindeer. As you're wandering the shore one day, you smell a party invitation in the shape of a rotting whale corpse. This provides a lot of food, so you can expect a lot of visitors, including your closest relative, the brown bear. This could end in a fight, you could walk away, or in the very rare instance, you could interbreed and produce one of these. You decide to take option 2 and leave. There's another species you may encounter on the land which could end up going quite badly for you. It's part of the culture of some Arctic indigenous peoples to hunt polar bears, mainly for meat and hides. Your continuous quest for food brings you to the doorstep of a group of concerned-looking humans. Luckily for you, this time they just put you in pesky polar bear jail till the sea ice returns. Back on the ice and the spring has come, which means it's mating season. You try and find a mate by hanging around the best hunting areas and following the scents that the other bears produce from their paws. If you're a male, once you find a female, you try to isolate her from other males and will chase a few runs. This is when the most aggression occurs between males and you have to stand your ground against a bear who's less likely to back off this time. After victory, you spend the next 2 weeks with your new mate in the most sociable time of the year. Once your work is done, you go your separate ways, off to find another partner with zero cares in the world about your unborn children. If you're a female bear, you also mate with multiple partners throughout the season, and your litter of 1 to 3 cubs could all have different fathers. You spend the rest of spring, summer and autumn bulking up as much as you can, ready to spend the winter in a maternity den. Sometime between August and November, you make your way inland and dig a hole in the snow, just large enough for you to turn around in. You wait for the snow to cover the entrance and go into a state of carnivore lethargy, which is similar to hibernation, but not quite the same. Around December time, you give birth to your litter of cubs and proceed to follow in your mum's footsteps, by nursing and training them to survive in the Arctic. Everything went to plan this time, but it's not always the case. Sometimes your den can get disturbed, or you may not have packed on enough mass to sustain the family, both scenarios having unhappy endings. After you've left the kids, it's back to normal routine. You try to hunt some seals, but there's not much around, and after a few failed hunts, you're almost starving. You spend 3 days walking across the ice and swimming through the ocean till you come across a dense pack of large seals with massive tusks. Not wanting to take one on, you think back to one of Mum's lessons all those years ago. You decide to try your luck by provoking the walruses to create a stampede in the hope that a smaller pup will get trampled on and left behind. They didn't. Another fail. As you're about to give up all hope, you come across your golden ticket, a sub-adult with a freshly caught seal. The seal gives you a good boost and you sleep well through the night, thinking it's all going to be okay. But the next day you wake up having drifted off to sea. Again. You know that if you're going to survive, you need to get swimming. As you're about to jump into the water, you think to yourself, does my life really suck this much? Yeah.